Only I will tell you like this, my dear friends. Not perhaps even your parents, not your friends, and no other teachers. Nobody will remind you so consistently about the hidden dangers of the future. So that at least by listening to this, you will start being aware of that, and slowly in your non-conscious processes, you will occasionally develop some strategies, make yourself ready to manage your life and your work and your relationships. So when you look at creativity in this context, please realize that it is looking at the things from different vantage points, not only looking at ideas and events and experiences and people and decisions, but also to look at yourself in your day-to-day climbing of the hills of whatever the life would offer you, present before you. It requires really, in a way I'm happy that now only really creative individuals will survive happily. Of course, it is not my idea. Now only I have discovered it in my own way, by my own research, interviewing some thousands of people. Perhaps you might have heard about a great guy by name Edward de Bono. A wonderful guy who went around all over the world convincing people that creativity is not a so-called special gift to some chosen people. That everybody has that moments of creativity in their mind and intelligence and intellect and spirit. Like the hand movements are there with every hand. It is their choice to use that movements to play guitar or play violin or write beautifully or to do some craft work. So all movements of the central nervous system, all movements of the intellect engines are available to every human being, every standard human being. But the way using it is the differentiator from the creativity to the non-creative, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. So, the first book written by Edward de Bono was Creativity, The Happiness Purpose. I saw that book when I was at IIM Ahmedabad. I was surprised. What is it? In which way creativity is connected with happiness? It was way back in 1985. At that time, even I never thought that creativity, I thought that creativity is about producing new ideas. Like even now you can see in some of the stupid articles and books that creativity is in producing something new, some novel ideas and things like that. Of course, that also is creativity. But ultimately, much greater dimension of creativity is in creating a different self inside you, discovering the wonderful entelechies of the self in you. That is what Edward de Bono has mentioned in that book, Happiness Purpose. Because happiness is the purpose of all existence. Even a bird is trying for its happiness, that happiness meaning not what you call cinematic dance and getting drunk and talking nonsense and do whatever you want. That equilibrium of the mind, equilibrium of the self, equilibrium of that feeling within oneself. It requires really that whatever we name us, you have to create within you, because it will not automatically happen to you. With all the possible probable movements of the hand, it will not play the guitar automatically. You have to train rigorously. With all that wonderful powers of the analytical capacity of the central nervous system, it will not make a wonderful analysis on its own. With all that ability to look at things from 100 different ways, it will not do it automatically. Rather, the entire world is continuously telling you to look at things in a specified way. Like even the so-called religion is insisting people to look at their own gods as the only one gods. The West claiming that whatever the West says is the only one important things. Like the so-called sciences say that arts are not as great as sciences. Like the Western medicine is telling that Indian Ayurveda is nothing.
It's
Like a
15:45.
certain political party says that we are the only one correct party, the other party is wrong. That is the environment. So in such an environment, it is really complex. It's a real creative task to develop your own perspectives and maintain it, manage it, and to hold on to that with complete confidence in self. So coming back, that happiness purpose. Why did you go for CAT examination? You wanted to have a good job. Why you wanted to have a good job? To get good money. Why did you want to have good money? To have good wife, good house, good possessions, so that you can feel happy about you. And my dear friends, I tell you, none of these things will make you happy. Okay, you have a Mercedes Benz. Okay, 1 week you may feel thrilled about it. Every time when you drive it, you look at other cars and you may feel a little bit one up about you. But one day you have to get out of the car, and when you go to bed, you will come back to interact with your own self or your family, your children, your friends, your colleagues. At that time, you cannot continuously say that I am the richest person in the world and therefore treat me like that and let me feel happy. Happiness is to be originating within you. Despite variations, despite volatility and uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity and danger and in this ridiculously unethical world, increasingly unethical world, that's the ultimate test of your creativity. That is the ultimate test of your ability to interpret the ongoing reality in a most positive way, in a most advantageous way. That's when you have to create and maintain that peace of mind. Even when absolute turbulence is in front, you have to manage your mind at peace. You have to pilot your ship without being wrecked by the currents of the environment. That is the test of your creativity, my dear friends. So just develop it. You will be thrilled, you will be happy. You will be happy and you will be able to make at least 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 colleagues happy. They will all come to you. Like someone out of you, most of the students at CIMP, let me tell you, they are all very careless about their lives. Not only you. Because I told more or less same things to them also. A great majority of them also never considered what I said as very important. So after 9 years, somebody is calling me, telling that now I recollect what all things you said, sir, and therefore I am asking you a doubt. Because there is life, my dear friend. It is not what you see in the campus. It is not what you really imagine. Everybody is imagining, I know, all of you are imagining that your life will be like a filmy, beautiful story. Impossible. Even if you become a Mukesh Ambani or Bill Gates or the richest person in the whole world, the CEO of the greatest corporation in the world, life will not leave you without being tested. So in those tests, when you climb those little and big hills, Please do not fall down as much as possible. And falling will be inevitable, no doubt. You should be unaffected by any kinds of falling or any kinds of tumbling down. You have to again climb and collect the kind of water you wanted to collect. That is the ultimate challenge of your creativity. That is creativity. And I would say that only is creativity.
Sir,
Yes?
this is Shankul, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, as we are leaving the campus in a fortnight, sir, as we have got our joining from 8th of March.
Okay.
Sir, just last lessons from you for us so that we can survive in this dynamic environment, sir.
My dear Shankul, that's what I am doing. That is what I have been always doing. I did not tell you one, I told you 100 perspectives. I cannot choose
Yes.
one. Every line I talk is with utmost sincerity and commitment to make you wonderful in your life. What are you for me? Nobody. None of you may even remember me. And most of the management students, they are very well known that they are, unlike other university students, particularly management students are very surprisingly thankless, ungrateful people. Because they all think about themselves in a different way. An MSc science students, a medical doctor, an engineering student, a law student, they don't think like that about themselves. Because they are studying something called management, they look at themselves as managers or something like that. They develop a unique kind of an ego. I know that very well. Despite that, if you recollect, the sensible among you, if they recollect, they will know that one out of every 3 sentences I told them was completely inspired by that genuine concern for you. That should be what, Shankul, I want you to remember now. That is,
Yes, sir.
though or even though none of you is going to see me again, even though none of you is related to me in any way, look at the sincerity and commitment and dedication with which I interacted with you. I was concerned about you. I tried to do my best in whatever I wanted to do for you. Do that. You also do that for others in what you do. Why did I make you write so many papers? Do you think it was easy for me? For my every question, if there are 80 students, there are 80 different answers. Whether I rate it C or C plus or B or B plus or A plus, it is not an easy job. It is not like the same answer to the same question in other subjects. Especially for the first 20 so-called B plus and above, I had to sometimes go through every sheet something like even 10 times. Why should I do that? I was teaching ethics. You ask anybody from any management institutes from anywhere in the world, everywhere they are just teaching theories of ethics. I did not do that. I used that opportunity to make you sensitive to the rights and the wrongs and the corrects and the incorrects and the good and the bad. Giving you one of the greatest case studies in the world. They are all using simple case studies of a sexual harassment or a money embezzlement. Something happened in some corporations, what you call 3G scam or whatever, and they discuss left, right, and all that. It's of no use. What I'm saying is, that kind of a commitment you should show to what you do, Shangul. That's what I want to tell you. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
That's all. Love what you do. Even if you are doing something to your enemy, if you do it, it should have the quality of the use, Shangul. That's what I told you. A rose is a rose is a rose because a rose can only be a rose.
Yes, sir.
So be a rose. And when a rose is a rose is a rose, why it is so confident? Because it has given its fullest expression. It is firm and correct and elegant and complete in its roseness. So once you taste your completeness, you have to be complete wherever you are. When you master your language, you will have mastered your language. When you talk to an auto rickshaw driver or a beggar on the road or to your CEO or to anybody in the world. In other words, only a rose can afford to be a rose all the time. Other things are doubtful. Human beings are doubtful. So do not have that doubt. Develop your competency fully, or develop your self-respect fully, or as a strategy, love what you do. Be inspired about whatever little things that you do, whether it's a small PowerPoint presentation or a meeting with a little client or a meeting with a colleague. Do not take a single day of your work for granted. Do not take your wife for granted. Do not take your husband for granted. Do not take your children for granted. Do not take your driver for granted. Because this is an only one life. Everything in this world is very, very, very important as you is. Who are you to say that this is great and that is not great and all that? Love everything with all your love. And when you develop that, nothing can shake you, Shangul. Nothing can shake you.
Yes, sir.
Because by that you become a part of this nature process. This nature is operating inside you. If the nature is operating in every tree for its complete blooming, if the nature is operating in every bird, in its marvelous engineering of executing its nest in volatile movements of the branches of the trees in the mountains, if every cat is facilitated to make its precise jump and its precise locating of a piece of fish in an apartment complex, why the human beings are like this? It is because of their lack of commitment to the completeness of what they do. It is because they take their life for granted. It is because they take themselves for granted. It is because of the lack of commitment to their own thoughts and feelings and experiences. They may get worried over a little bit of things. Worrying they naturally do for hours together, months together, even years together, their entire life. But they don't spend even 1 hour to understand that worry and to transcend that worry and to get out of it and to strengthen their mind to manage that worry and greater worries. This is all I want to say. Not all I want to say. This is what I say right now to you, Shangul, and to everybody else. So I have nothing more to tell you, my dear friends. From the very first day of the class, I have been telling you only wonderful things. I don't know whether you are aware of it, but I am aware of it and I am completely clear about it. And I wish you all, I am going to end the class, though the session is up to 5 o'clock. Time is not that important. If finishing the unit of ideas which I wanted to tell you, that is over. That's enough. So you will have a so-called test on Monday morning. As you are aware of, it will not be kind of the conventional kind of textbook questions and textbook answers. Like Jack and Jill was uh, uh, observed with attention to
It's
details.
16 hours.
And you try to see the realities implied by those few lines. Like the way you interpreted those realities, there will be a small case, as I told you even before. Read that case. It is not even 30 lines, I suppose. And just about 6 questions are there. Take your freedom of mind and conceptualization, interpret what you understand. It's a very simple case, no doubt about that. Almost as simple as Jack and Jill, in a different way. And utilize that opportunity. Anything else? Any questions from anybody?
So there will be a case and related questions will be there in the end term exam.
Yeah, that's what I just now told Premalada.
Ayushi.
That's what I said. The case meaning everything is a case for me. Everything is a case, in fact, in the sense that every event is a case. In the
Yes,
sense,
sir.
in the sense that everything can be analyzed. Continue to be analytical in your perspective about the world. Do not wait for a document to be on your table so that you analyze. You should have an analytic perspective about everything. Those who had that analytical perspective, those who had that creative analytic perspective about everything, they created this world. They created the pencils and the pens and the ink bottles. They created the philosophies of ethics and politics and sociologies. They created the sciences and technologies. They created whatsoever that you right now see everywhere in your room, from the table to the chair to the tablecloth to the pencil holder to the mobile phones or to the laptop to the calendar to the walls to the way of building a house. They created. Those who are capable of creative analytic observation of things around, and by their creative interpretation they could make variations on what they saw. They made this world. Don't be just audiences of that stage show. Anybody can watch a stage show, but I want you to be on the stage. To create at least your own wonders of your own life, at least. That's what I have been talking till now. Okay, Premlada, this I told you even before that I think two classes before that there will be an exam where a case will be given and you have questions and you have to answer that. This time also the same thing, Premlada.
Sir, I'm Ayushi and I had actually asked this question.
Oh, Ayushi asked the question. All right, Ayushi. I always do like that. There is no point in giving a textbook and without telling you there is a question from somewhere and you answer that. That's of not much advantage. If you think for yourself at least for 1 minute, that is much more a training to the engines of your reflective thinking than 1 year of mugging up something, okay? I'm not against mugging up something. I was also a good guy to mug up. I was a state rank holder. So do that. But that is not at all important. When you do mug up various ideas in the books and elsewhere, you must be wondering for a minute, who created all those things? Why can't I also create some ideologies, some perspectives, some new methods? Do that. In your lifetime as a manager or a senior manager or a whatever, you contribute to something unique to the organization. Within 1 year of time of your joining the organization, everybody should say, oh, this guy is wonderful. That is your challenge. That is your creative challenge. It is not by pleasing everybody, okay? No, I don't mean that. They have to really feel the gravity of you, and you have to create a gravity in you. You have to conceptualize and talk like that. They should be feeling wonderful about talking to you. Take it as a challenge. After 10 years or 20 years, when the so-called senior management is trying to replace you with somebody young and with some other competency configuration, they must feel disappointed. They must try all their best to cancel that decision. That is your challenge. So, by saying that, I also intimated to you that the competency configuration requirements of the future are entirely of your own, not from your textbooks or your educational qualification at all. It has never been, and it will much more, much less. It is what you can produce, what you can think, what you can conceptualize, what you can produce only, my dear friends. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Your first year will be maybe easy. You just do what your boss or your guide or your mentor or your supervisor say. It is easy. Maybe second year also. But your so-called career growth will entirely, I am telling you, almost, let us say, 99% definitely depend upon the quality of your competencies and the quality of your behaviors and responses, and especially revealed. Of course, unless you have a language, it will not be revealed either. Look at the world today. Today, I was watching what you call BMW assembly plant. You must watch it, my dear friends. You will see not more than 3 people. At least 1,500 people would be required to assemble that car if it is done manually. But you want to say marvelous, that is also a fact. Marvelous wonders of robots doing everything. See that? It is an indication. Artificial intelligence. In another 5 years of time, definitely most of the decisions will be taken for artificial intelligence programs, even in a small organization, even in India. Then what is the role of a so-called manager? We have to see that. Unless you are really wonderful. Just another word for creative. It will be a little difficult. Okay, you can resign your job and go home. And when you want to start something on your own, it will be much more complex. Okay. And again, as I told you, that family dimension. All this you do. For what? Finally, by the nature process design, to have a family, to create the next generation, to take care of the next generation, to have your children. And if you are not wonderful, what is going to be the response of your children in the future? They are not going to respect you because you are CEO of a company, not at all. Your wife or husband is not going to love you just because you have a PhD and you are getting lakhs of monthly salary. Do you think the ever-increasing marital problems in India is because of financial problems? Not at all. In fact, financial problems are likely to make the husband and wife a little more together. The marital problems increase more or less in direct proportion to the level of education and the level of work positions and the economic facility they have. Very surprising. So you have to manage your work, you have to manage yourself, you have to manage your relationships, and you have to manage your spouse. First 2-3 years are okay, all right? In general. Even that is becoming questioned now. All right, what else? I have given you a great lot of ideas. That itself is lifetime thinking, actually. So once again, I wish you all the best on behalf of that creative spirit inside you and the creative spirit all around and the creative spirit of the universe by which you are all born. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
All right, you are welcome, Pooja. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
All of you are welcome. Don't worry about the test. It is something very simple. Sit down cool, reflect upon, be alone, write down your answers confidently and in good language with the correct grammar and all that. Okay? Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Bye, Sren. Bye, Shangul.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for all the classes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Remember this. Remember our classes.
Yes, sir.
Definitely it will be helpful to you throughout your life. Bye. And I also tell you at any point of time you can call me. Not now, after 2 years, 3 years. Bye bye.
Swami. Shall I start talking?